from this trunk all these flowers are growing, all these trees are growing. So this is the act of fatir. You can say, another word, you can say this trunk is fatir of all these trees and leaves. Okay?
Those leaves and trees are the fatara of...
This trunk is fatir, is the one who creates these in the way of fitra. That means, it means it's a type of opening up, but it is not that physically you see that this trunk is opening up. It's not nothing like that. But basically, in reality, is an opening up of this trunk, which is grown into those. You can say that manifestation too, but I'm not trying to use the word manifestation. I'm trying to make you understand the word fatir and fatara. Fatara is when creation is made this way, which is coming from within something else. It is not that somebody has, because another type of khalqat of this, you can say, if someone goes and bring all those leaves and other branches and stick them together, that's also called khalqat, but it's not fatra. So the difference is this. When you get the main thing is I want to make an understanding and difference between khalqat in way of fatir. Because in that hadith, when we continue, it says then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, He says, I created, it's about all five ma'sumin that I have told you. We say, how do we say? Ya Fatiru bihaqq Fatima. There is hadith about this. That's why we call Ya Fatiru bihaqq Fatima, Ya Aliyu bihaqq, Ya Aliyu bihaqq Ali, Ya Fatiru bihaqq Fatima, Ya Muhsinu bihaqq Hassan, all of these. Hussein. These are all based on a hadith that Allah says, I have created these ma'sumin from these names of myself. So let's get on to the one that we spoke about, Hazrat Fatima Salamullah alayha, which Allah says that I created Fatima from the name of Fatir. Fatir and Fatima. Okay? There is an important thing here, so to remove any confusion. It is because people who are Arab probably can make this more understanding or more question comes for them, because fatir are the words made with fe, ta, re, but Fatima is the words made from fa, te, mim. They are not from the same root. And why is that? Allah says, I created. You make an understanding? Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes? That because in Arabic there are three main words which based on these are foundation, the building block of all the other words that they make from this. You say fatara, fatere, they make fatir, they make mafdur, they make fetra, they make all the other munshaqat or derivatives from these three. We have got Sulasi Mujarrad and Rubai Mujarrad in Arabic. So there are also some other words which they are with four main building blocks. These are the building blocks of these words. So the question is, why Allah says, when Allah says, I created Fatima from my name of Fatir, how these two are related? This is Fatimim and this is Fatira. The answer and making an understanding of this is, importance of it is this is Ismullah. Fatir is Ismullah. Allah says, I created Fatima from this name of me, which is Fatir. How these two related is to make an understanding that these are only literal words. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I did inshigaq of, for instance, Fatima from the name of Fatir, we should not, maybe you did not because you're not Arab, but those who know a little bit of Arabic, they would see an issue here that these two are not like each other. This is not, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not talking literally, is not talking literature. And we also have spoken about the names of Allah in the first two sessions of Tafsir Dua Kumail. we spoke only about Asma'ullah, although they were brief still. But one of the things that immediately one have to digest and understand is that Asma'ullah are not the names. When we say Fatir, Fatir is Ismul Ism. It is not Ism itself. Do you remember, Ali Agha? When we say Fatir, when we say Khaliq, when we say Aqil, any name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala you use, when you say it, that word itself is not the Ismullah. It's not the name of Allah. It is the name of Allah. And even maybe in the same class I explained more, I went more into depths of it with the explanation of Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli, who says these words that we write are Ismul. There are 4 layers between this word that you see here and that very Ism of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala itself. Do you remember?
I remember. But can I ask something?
Yeah.
When we talk about Ism and Zat, so are we not saying the top layer is the Zat of Allah, or still we are in the domain of Ism?
Now let me explain a little bit to refresh your mind that why it was said is Ism. It is, we know that we have discussed that Ism itself is Zat with consideration of one sifat. That is why Ism, how Ism is made. For instance, even for ourselves, when you look at me with that ability that I have in drawing, right? That drawing ability of me considered in me is that Ism of me, which makes me artist, if you want to call it in English even. Or that that ability in me, which is sifat, that ability, when I say ability, I'm talking about an attribute. When I have got an attribute of, let's say, cooking, if I have that attribute. So you call me cook, that is, you are referring to me with the same, with only that ability that I have. Whereas I might have different abilities. Similarly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have many attributes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with every attribute, when we refer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have considered Zat of Allah with that sifat. Otherwise, Zat of Allah is not more than one. It's all about one thing. But it's only considering, is only looking at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only from that aspect and from that attribute. So that is when we say it is Ismul, it is the first word here we say Fatir, this is one Ism, one level of Ism. This we call it what do you call it? Literal, okay? This is in the lower is referring to a meaning. Meaning of Fatir is what? That way of creation, the way which is comes from something more substantial. So from this level, literal comes to the level of meaning. That's another ism here. Okay? So Fatir once is only a literal version of writing, then it comes to a meaning. That's the second level. It comes to third level. This then refers to sifat. So then only in the third level we consider that sifat of creatorship. That is what is being referred to. In this level is only the meaning. In this level is only the word Fatir. Then you need another break through this word and go to the meaning of it, so that you remember, yes, Fatir is about creatorship. Then you need to go to that sifat of Allah. Sorry, the second one, that you go to the meaning of it. That means a creating. Allah is, here is the meaning of Fatir is creating. Then you refer from that, you go deeper, you go to the that ism of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then from here you go to where? To the Zat of Allah. Because any ism has got reference to Zat. Otherwise, ism alone doesn't have any meaning. So, what I want to make clear here is that these names, these are only words. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Fatir as-samawati wal arz, that Fatir is that He has created Fatima from Fatir, although the words do not match. But Allah, this is only the literal word that we are talking about. That meaning, that attribute, in fact, we are referring, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring to that He has created Fatima from that attribute that He has.
So in the level of, so Allah means that Fatima and Fatir has no relationship in literal meaning.
No, they have relationship. I'm only explaining if on surface you do not see that Fatir and Fatim are the same words. Fatir and Fatim are not the same word.
They're not from the same root.
Yeah, exactly. They are not from the same root. So when Allah says, I created Fatima from my name of Fatir, then the question is there, why they are not the same thing? Well, how come Allah says that? I'm just explaining that is the reason that it is not necessary that literally they come from the same root of the word. Allah is referring to this level. Allah is not referring to that level when He says, I created Fatima. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I created Muhammad from my name of, we say, Ya Aliyo, Ya Hamidu bihaqqi, Hamid. Mahmud. Okay. So Allah is saying He has created Muhammad from His name Mahmud. But there, the literally roots of the words are the same. You do not have that problem there. But basically, even there, Allah is not saying that I created Muhammad from this He Mim Dal. That doesn't make any sense. So Allah is saying, I made from the name of Mahmud, I created Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
So the reality of Fatima is created from the reality of Fatima, not in literal.
Yeah. And when Allah says, when we say He has created Ali from my name of Ali, they are the same root. But still it doesn't mean Allah has not created Ali from this Ain Lam Ye. He has created Ali from that Ismullah of Ali. Okay? Similarly, you go for Qadimul Ihsan and for, is it? Okay, I finish in 5 minutes. But time-wise, you have 5 minutes left yet. It's only very dark. So, thank you for letting me know. So, when Allah says, I created Fatima from Fatir, He has created Fatima salamullah alayha from that name of Fatir. But what was that name of Fatir? What name was Fatir with which? See, remember, all Asma'ullah are working in the whole creation. Asma'ullah are not. That's unfortunately, this is the problem that we have. We are so much related to these words and physical things. It's very difficult for us to get rid of this. The moment I say, for instance, the moment we say insan, in Farsi we say yesar o do gush, one head and 2 ears and eyes comes in mind. Whereas that has nothing to do with insan. That's only the shape of insan in this world. The reality of insan is such a huge thing. The whole Quran is about it. Right? So when we say, here now when we say Fatir, the name of Fatir, Allah has created, Allah with all these Asma'ullah is working the whole creation. Is being created and being run by Asma'ullah. So when by the name of Fatir, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created everything, and Allah has created Fatima from the name of Fatir, that gives such a different status to Hazrat Fatima salamullah alayha. He is made from Fatir. But again, I know the immediate paradox is here. Then what is she higher than Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? What about other Masumin? These are all the questions that come to mind. Which once I have said, probably more than once I have said, these are different workings of Asma'ullah in different. It is not the matter. Ma'asumin are all the same Nurun Wahide. Inshallah, if time allows, not today, I mean as a whole, if we are together and we continue these topics and we discuss about Haqiqat Muhammadiyya sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, then we realize what is Haqiqat Muhammadiyya and what are other Ma'asumin. So this should not be a confusion as to then are we saying Hazrat Fatima is higher than the others. No, we are saying Hazrat Fatima is mushtaq, his wujud is mushtaq from the name of Fatir of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So mushtaq means derived. So we stop at here. When I want to start, I usually think I don't have enough material to talk today. But not always is like that. But when I talk, then I see there is not enough time that I say what I have prepared. So inshallah we continue next after namaz. Dar Muhammad wa al Muhammad salawat. Close this. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa al Muhammad.